loved, art, and he gave a lot of money to help him. Yeah, and he collected treasures to show people, especially Russian treasures.
But you cannot.
Yes.
И сейчас вызовут охрану, всех, кто
see that the expressions are fantastic and so powerful, and
Почему, ребята? Это дети из бедных семей. Таким образом они зарабатывают себе пропитание.
No, in the Red Square, this grave yard and so on.
Okay.
Because I think it's quite a place.
Yeah, I mean, there is so much history to discover here in Russia and in Moscow, and to go to the Kremlin and to the mausoleum, and behind the mausoleum with all the graves, all the political leaders, and but even people like Yuri Gagarin, and Gorky, they're all buried there, and I mean, you never see any pictures or in TV, you never from this place, So you walk by there, the surrounding and Red Square and the Basilica, and it's very strong, and it has you can feel there's a lot of energy at this place, and I think it's for everybody who comes visiting. This is so central. I mean, this Kremlin, and we went through the Kremlin yesterday. We learned so much about it. This is like this triangle shape. This is where Moscow started, and Moscow has been built around it, and getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And for us, we just learned about Moscow. We came here as visitors, as musicians, playing concerts since the last 10, 12 years, This is a very short time in terms of history, So, and coming here to the museum today and to enjoy all those famous Russian artists, painters, I mean, it's very, very impressive, and you can learn a lot about the history of the country, and it's great to see so many kids and children here from school, and it's such a great cultural education, and it's very, very, very strong. And I'm just wondering how can artists, I mean, it's like today in modern art, there are so many different ways to express yourself as an artist, but when you think of these 100 years ago, how could they could they come up with something that is great from all the technical point of view, and the material they could work with, it's very, very impressive, And I know this is just one museum, and there are a couple more, and of course in St. Petersburg, it's the Hermitage. I know it's so world famous, it's amazing, But as an artist, to come here, you feel the energy, and makes your heart goes a little faster, and you're connected in one way, playing music, writing songs, but I think face to face with this kind of art, I feel very small, and I just appreciate so much artistic creation, and what they left for the world to see, and which stay like forever. I appreciate it very much.
And you're great with sort of rock and roll.
Yeah, I mean, today walking along the Kremlin, of course I remember every time I come here, we remember our visit 10 years ago when we were invited by Mikhail Gorbachev and his wife Raisa Gorbacheva, and it was not just for the photographers or for the media, like a meeting where handshake kind of thing, and that's it. No, it was very different. He spent almost an hour with us, sitting in the Kremlin, sitting together on the table, and he talked about glasnost and perestroika, about his country, and we talked about music, and I remember when I said to him, when I was a kid, and growing up, and I saw Khrushchev at the United Nations taking out his shoe and hitting the table, and we were like in shock. And I think all the world was like afraid of a big world war, and he said, but that wasn't rock and roll, wasn't it? So we all cracked up laughing, and so he had so much humor, and he was and still is such a charismatic person, a very, very nice man, and it's for us a moment back in '91, 10 days before he left the office. It was a very special moment. We always will remember, and talking as a German citizen, I think for what he did for peace, for world peace, and what he did for all Germans, I think we will never forget.
When were you, then the Berlin Wall was destroyed?
I was in Paris. With the band, and Rudolf and me, we were with some media people and TV people in a club in Paris, and we saw on television, and we saw people dancing on the wall, and we said, look, what is this? And we could not believe our eyes, and I think we were crying, and it was very, very emotional. Very, very emotional.
East Berlin. In terms of changing, today you were approached even by some kind of guards and policemen. This is a real change for Russia. What do you think? Russia is changing?
Oh, yes, very, very much. I mean, like 10 years ago, no soldier would talk to us. I remember, when we played at the Moscow Music Peace Festival at Lenin Stadium, there was the security, half of the Red Army was there, and they were all in front of the stage but facing the audience. They were not allowed to watch the show. But when we came out playing and we played Still Loving You, they turned around, they threw their caps in the air, and they became part of the audience, and so we all could feel that there was right then, the world was changing right in front of our eyes, and today, yes, right behind the mausoleum, I was signing autographs for a soldier there, and he was smiling and said, oh, it's great to see you here, and I think that would not have been possible like years ago, so it's great that so many things are changing for the better, and We know it's not perfect yet, but the world is not perfect yet, and the part of the world where we live in Germany is not perfect either, you know. So, and it's all we're all visiting for a short moment in time, and especially when you're in a museum and you go to places like this, you realize we are just here for a short moment in time, you know, and let's try to make the best out of it, and hopefully we work it out for the better, for a peaceful world.
Are you the most cultural member of the band? Where are they?
I don't know. I think it's for an artist, you know, it's very inspiring, you know, to come to these places and instead of sitting in your hotel room and watching CNN, you know. I mean, this is while I'm here, you know, I really try to soak it like
everything what you can.
Yeah, I soak it in, you know, because it's very, very inspiring, and it's like education never stops.
And the last question about what do you expect from your concert tomorrow? What do you expect? A few words about it, and what do you expect?
Well, it's a Scorpions concert, but it's not a typical Scorpions concert because we play with the very best Russian classical orchestra, symphonic orchestra, and I don't know what to expect from the audience. I'm sure there will be our fans, but I'm sure there will be also a lot of people who maybe come to see this event or to see the orchestra. How can they play with a rock band, you know? So it's not only a culture bridge between Germans and Russians joining together on stage, playing together. It's also a bridge between classical music and rock music, and that I think makes it very interesting, not only for rock fans but also for people who enjoy classical music. And it's just when you're open-minded enough, after all, it's music, and we play together, and I think the greatest Russian musicians together with us, and we make it hopefully a great concert for the audience, and I'm sure it will be a very, very special evening at the Kremlin Palace tomorrow night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What's the museum?
Yep.
You don't know? Yeah, fruit collections. Have you been in fruit collections? 70? Everybody loves me.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, very, very sad. It's one of my roles. And
Не показывать, да? Сегодня в 7 часов вечера.
Ура!